Sup YouTube, the Gaming Channel 95 here. It's Rashad.
It's Farhan.
And we're here to talk about the playoffs, the finals, everything in general, just our feelings. First off, for our discussion, I want to start off things with I don't want to really talk about the first round because it's just too much to remember and whatnot. So let's jump into what I want to talk about is Celtics versus Magics. Matter of fact, let's rewind. I want to do Celtics versus Cavaliers. Now, when I heard about Celtics versus Cavaliers, they both made it. My initial reaction was Cavaliers are taking it. I am not a Boston fan. I do support them. I did support them when they win against the Lakers. I'm not really a fan at all, but I just thought that the Cavaliers this year had the advantage over the much older Celtics, and I was proven wrong. And the Celtics really took over. How do you feel? And how were you shocked that the Cavaliers lost in the way they did? What did you expect going into watching this series?
Actually, I was shocked at the end. The Cavaliers didn't foul. It was like they gave up. It was all over ESPN. LeBron gave up. His team gave up. They didn't want to try it. They were down by 9 minutes left. They still could have come back in, but they didn't foul. And it just to me that point that Cavaliers didn't try the hardest, but LeBron did try, and he was the role player of his team going into winning the first round and actually trying to beat the Celtics, but in the end they couldn't come. And the Celtics really proved they wanted to win the finals. They wanted to go to the finals. They wanted to be dominant, and they proved in that series.
A third thing I want to touch upon is I don't know if this is gonna affect my Cavaliers fans, but I just do not think the Cavaliers are a good team. People think that the Cavaliers are an okay team. I think they're a bad team. It's just me. I just think defensively they don't have a great defensive perspective, except for when LeBron does his crazy blocks, which is like once in a while it happens. But overall, how the Lakers have their defense and the Celtics have their defense. The Cavaliers lack that. I mean, what do you think about the Cavaliers? How would you rate them as a team?
They're a very good team, first of all, but it's just that these past years that everybody thought they were going to win the finals and they were going to win the championship. Last year they had I think the best record in the East and in the NBA, and everybody thought that they were going to go to the finals and be dominant for the first time, but they lost to the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think in Game 6
in 2008.
In 2009.
No, it was 2008. Yeah, it was 9. This is 2010.
And the Cavaliers made it to the finals in 2007, but they lost in a sweep against the San Antonio Spurs. They won in 4 games. And this year, I thought they were going to win. I didn't think they were going to win. I thought they were going to go to the finals at least to be competitive to either the Lakers or whoever. I also thought the Nuggets were going to be good, but they lost in the first round. I thought Cavaliers were going to have a good chance this year by how I saw in the beginning of the season.
I just think that the Cavaliers don't have a great team, but this man right here behind me, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me just move out the way. Right here, LeBron James. You guys can see this man right here, free agent. Cannot wait for, I think it's July 1st. I hopefully think he should change teams. Maybe if he goes to the Knicks, he can win New York the championship. But I think just maybe he needs to spice things up a little. I
want to go back on the Cavs thing. That people said that they thought we were going to win because they had Shaquille O'Neal, but this year they didn't really prove to me because they had a much greater Anthony Parker, Mo Williams, Shaquille O'Neal. I thought he was going to be very dominant, but he wasn't dominant really in the playoffs. And for the Cavaliers to either win or go to the finals, everyone has to do good. Anthony Parker has to be shooting those threes. They have to be on target.
Another thing is the Shaq. When you pull the Shaq card, Shaq is not the player he was when he played for the Lakers. Shaq is not. I'm not gonna say he's not good. He's more of a bench player. I think he's a good bench player because he gives you points and he does his thing and then he's out. He's not a productive guy who comes in and out every night and gives you solid play like LeBron does. Shaq I treat as a bench player who on certain nights gives you the performance that they need. But they cannot rely on Shaq, who's I don't even know how old is he now.
I think
so, give them a championship, if this was right after him Laker, if this was back when the Lakers had a Shaq, yeah, then it would be great, you know, to have Shaq. But now this Shaq is not what he used to be, and that's not disrespect. It's just the truth, you know.
And I also want to say that LeBron, he wanted his team to do good. He was the Cavaliers that they depend on LeBron too much, and is that this teammates have to work hard. It's not only the LeBron show. LeBron is just doing this whole year. That's why he won MVP back to back, and I think he deserved it. What he did this season.
Yeah, LeBron just deserved another good team. But we spent too much time talking on this. Let's move on. Another thing I want to talk about was what other? Let's move on to Celtics versus Magics. And I know we're probably gonna mostly talk about the Eastern Conference stuff because I think it was more interesting because the Lakers pretty much dominated the West. But maybe we'll touch upon the Suns and Lakers. But I was actually surprised. Okay, first I was surprised. Wow, they beat the Cavaliers. Then they went in to face the Magic. I was like, okay, you guys got lucky. You beat the Cavaliers, but the Magics are gonna win now. You know, I just thought that. I thought, you know, Dwight Howard was hungry. He made it last year, but this year he was going to go all the way, and he was going to win this. And with the help of Vince Carter. Now, this is what I want to talk about. Vince Carter or Turkoglu. Now, one-on-one, Vince Carter, of course. Your thoughts?
Yeah.
Vince Carter. But for the Magics and their gameplay and the way that they play the game, who's better? Who incorporates better to the Magic team?
Well, I actually thought Vince Carter was better. He was a better pickup than Hideo Turkoglu. Well, when he went to the Raptors, he was a disappointment to me, and I thought that he was disappointed to the Raptors.
My question is, did they make the right choice by switching Turkoglu?
Yes.
I have to disagree. I think Turkoglu was a better player in terms of working with the Magics. I mean, last year he was great, and he actually took them to the finals. This year, Vince Carter couldn't do that.
But Vince Carter, the thing about him is that he was doing good. In the beginning of the season, when he first came to the Magic, he wasn't that good. But later in the season, he became excellent, and he proved to me that Vince Carter wants to win a championship with the Magic. So I think that was great because they didn't make it to the finals. They lost to the Celtics. But I just thought that Vince Carter, he was okay. Yeah.
Moving on. Overall, why do you think they lost? Me personally, I just thought that their game wasn't on point. They didn't they didn't have a right strategy. Their defense was kind of sloppy at points, which is basically why they lost to the Celtics.
And they're a good 3-point shooting team, but I felt that they took too many 3-point shoots.
And also, you can't give all the credit to the Magics. You gotta admit the Celtics played a terrific series. I'm so surprised how well the Celtics have played this series. What are your thoughts on the Celtics play?
Celtics played excellent. Last year, in 2009 season, it was the same thing was in the conference, the semi-finals, and it was Celtics versus Magics, and Magics they won, and they went to the conference finals and they beat Cavs in the finals. So it was a rematch, but Celtics came dominating this year.
So okay, let's jump right to the finals. The Lakers versus Celtics. Now, my initial thoughts. Honestly, even though I didn't want the Lakers to win, I thought the Lakers were going to win, and that was going to happen. Why? Because as much as you probably hate the Lakers are a dominant team. They have the ingredients to make a dominant team. Let's break it down. Defense. They got Ron Artest, who's defending the perimeter, defending the top scorers on the opposite team. Then you have Bynum, whose big body is a threat to anybody on the court, and he creates. He creates defense, I think, just by being there.
Bynum and Gasol with those blocks.
Yeah. Not much Gasol. I think it's just Bynum, really. Bynum is a very strong defensive presence when it comes in the inside the paint. Now, moving on, let's go on to scorers. Of course, you got to mention the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. You know, this guy works hard as any NBA player. He's putting up points. And on top of that, you have role players like Shannon Brown. Who else? Jordan Farmar. And then you got guys like Fisher. You have guys like Odom. You have guys like Ron Artest who can put up points if Kobe's having a bad night. And
in that Game 7 win,
Ron Artest really pulled through for the team. And, it just comes to show you that the Lakers are overall a great team.
79.
I think the Lakers right now are what the Celtics were in 2008. Celtics in 2008 were a picture-perfect team. They had the scorers, they had the defender, but this year the Celtics, the reason why they didn't win is that the Celtics got older, and while they got older, the Lakers got better.
Yeah, and the beginning of Game 6, when the very beginning of Game 6, Kendrick Perkins, when he was getting for offensive rebound, he fell down and injured himself.
And losing Perkins is losing a big defensive pressure.
And the game he lost, Celtics lost by